What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. We just got a ton of information on Season of Discovery Phase 2. This is a humongous preview that they just put out. It's pretty late at night for me, but I have to get this video out for you guys. I just skimmed through it, and there's some crazy stuff. So no intros, no anything else. Without further ado, let's dive in. Let me share my screen real quick for you guys. Boom, here we go. Go inside Season of Discovery Phase 2. Sit down with World of Warcraft Classic team designers to explore more of what Season of Discovery Phase 2 has in store for you. We will take you through new raid information, dungeon, rune ability, PvP, and profession updates, and more. With this preview, we want to take a moment to get ahead of the PTR since, like the previous Classic PTR, the content for Season of Discovery Phase 2 will not actually be available to play. So that means they're going to be putting it up on the PTR very soon. We also want to help assuage any incorrect assumptions from any data mining that may occur, as the PTR also holds some data that could be misleading, is experimental, is meant for later phases, or even are items that did not make the cut. So they have an entire video here, but we'll watch that for another video. Let's scroll through this right here. A look at the Gnomeregan raid dungeon. Location: Dun Morogh. The level is 40, the raid size is 10 players, and there are 6 bosses. Much like Blackfathom Deeps in Phase 2, Gnomeregan will be a 10-player raid dungeon consisting of 6 bosses, which includes 1 additional new boss, so a new boss that we haven't seen yet. That's pretty cool. Each of the previous 5 bosses have been redesigned to present new challenges within the raid dungeon. This dungeon will also introduce a new world buff. There will be a variety of new items and rewards, with even more epic rewards from additional sources beyond the last 2 bosses of the dungeon. There will also be a new class set to acquire and quests and rewards adjusted for level 40 players. Players will also be able to undertake a new profession quest chain, leading to new materials players can use to craft more powerful items. As a compromise for both leading edge players and more casual players, the raid dungeon will become available with the launch of Season of Discovery Phase 2, so it's going to be out on launch week. But there will be 2 lockouts on the normal weekly lockout timer at the start of the phase, so that's pretty cool. So what they did was they got to a compromise here. The raid's going to be available week 1, but for week 1 and week 2, it looks like it's only going to be able to be cleared once per week. So 2 clears, and then it's most likely going to go to that 3-day lockout like we've seen with BFD. This means the first of these raid resets will occur on February 13th, and the second will occur on the 20th with the regularly scheduled maintenance. This will allow for leading edge players to get to level 40 and start their hunt in the raid dungeon right away, but also minimizes the number of lockouts missed for those who level more slowly. So it's a nice compromise. I agree with what they did there. You will find some changes to the boss areas within the dungeon according for new challenges for players to overcome. Here are some examples of what you may find. Grubbus. New radiation vents may just come into play in this encounter. Crowd Pummeler 960. This boss was moved to a new part of the dungeon where your encounter will occur on a raised platform before a crowd. That's pretty cool. Mechaneer Thermoplug now has new mechanical suits as part of his arsenal. So new mechanics to those 3 bosses at least. Again, this is a preview, so this is not everything that's going to be in Phase 2. This is just a preview, and they wanted to specify that. I'm assuming they put this out because they know that once it hits the PTR, even though we can't play it, it's going to be data mined, it's going to be all over Wowhead, and we're going to start getting all of the information probably this week, I'm assuming. So new loot within the raid here. We have placed a few nods to older items that were previously staples in this dungeon. Items such as the automatic crowd pummeler will allow players to pick up just one of these items to reuse over and over as a quality of life improvement, which we already knew that was coming. So druids no longer going to have to farm the manual crowd pummelers, like a million of them, and put them in your bank. You're going to be able to just get the automatic crowd pummeler, get the same effect from it, just as an on use with no charges. So you can just keep using it. So let's look at some of this gear. Bonks, Maestro's handguards increase fist weapons by +5 and maces by +5. Those are leather hands. We have the domesticated attack chicken trinket. Release your domesticated attack chicken that will fight for you for 1.5 minutes or until defeated. The Mechanostrider muffler. A one-handed mace with 240 speed, 7 stamina, and 16 attack power. We have the Werdal's Hardened Core, a trinket with 7 stamina, 5 arcane, 5 nature resistance, increase your chance to dodge and attack by 1%, and an on-use to increase your armor by 1,000, but movement speed is reduced by 60%. Effect cannot be removed, and lasts for 10 seconds. So that's another tanking trinket right there. We have the Gear Mender's Grace mace. This is a main hand mace with a 2.5 speed, 4 intel, 3 spirit on it. Increase healing done by spells and effects by up to 20, so a nice one-handed healing mace there. Of course, the automatic crowd pummeler, which is the two-handed mace. It has 22 strength on it and 8 agility. That's pretty huge. Equip gives 69 attack power in cat, bear, and dire bear forms, which is really nice for druids. And obviously the on use that increases your attack speed by 50% for 30 seconds. The Necronomicon held in offhand, so it's an offhand for your casters. 2 intel, 2 spirit, 3 shadow resist, and 14 spell damage. Additional items. We have also tucked in some fun items as well into the raid dungeon. We have the Trog Transfigurator 3000 on use. So it's a trinket that has an on use that transfigures the caster into a Trog. We have Aragriar's Whimsical World Warper. Another trinket and on use that says, where could this device possibly take you? Oh well, who cares? 4-hour cooldown. So it's some kind of item that's going to teleport you somewhere in the world. Radiant Ray Reflectors, an epic headpiece cloth item with 1 armor on it that says the words "deal with it" are etched into the side. I love that. That is absolutely awesome. It's good to see them adding like fun items, you know? So some new item sets. To help players get access to additional pieces that they are having difficulty collecting, there will also be an armor piece token. Oh, so we're going to get some tier tokens. Token drops, allowing any player to use them to pick them up. Additional sets they may be missing. For example, if your boots have been eluding you, you can use a boot armor token to purchase them from the vendor. Really nice. So it looks like we're getting some form of like tier tokens. I really like this. And we're showing some plate legs here with 13 strength, 12 stamina. And 1 crit on it. We're showing some cloth chest piece here. So it's showing us 1 piece of each tier. So that plate set, the 2-piece set bonus is 7 defense and 16 attack power. The 3-piece bonus is an extra chance to hit. So that 1 piece, when you have all 3 of them, is going to give you 2% chance to hit right there. And then the cloth piece, we have 18 spell damage, 10 stam, 7 intel, 8 spirit, and then another chance to hit with the 2-piece. And then on the 3-piece set bonus for the cloth set, we have a chance on spellcast to increase your damage and healing by up to 40 for 10 seconds. That's a big set bonus. And then the mail chest piece here, we have 4 strength, 8 agility, 7 stamina, 6 intellect. Gives us 1% critical hit chance. Oh, so on that plate legs piece, it wasn't a hit chance. It was a crit chance, 1%, and then a hit chance for the 3-piece. Same goes for the mail chest piece. We're getting a crit chance on it, and then also 4 MP5, and then the 2-piece is 24 attack power, and the 3-piece is your attacks have a 5% chance of restoring 100 mana. And then another item here called Power Depleted Boots. Doesn't really give us a tooltip or say anything about those, so I'm not really sure what those are going to be. So we have some dungeon updates as well. Season of Discovery Phase 2 will also have new skill books added as part of a 5-player dungeon drop from various creatures. These are quality of life improvements and will not take a rune slot and help to address things such as short aura durations for paladin blessings, totem control for shamans, or even as a part of manipulating combo points for rogues and the target that these are on, and more. Here are just a few examples. So they listened to what we were basically asking for here. We have for paladins Testament of Enhanced Blessings, which is going to give you enhanced blessings. I'm assuming it's going to raise the duration of the buff to like 15 minutes or 30 minutes instead of 5 minutes, which will be really nice. Revelation of Totemic Projection teaches you Totemic Projection. I'm not sure if this is going to be like you can throw all of your totems down at once, or if this is going to be like you can pull all 4 totems up at once. Not really sure what that one's going to be, but it would be interesting to see that. And then Manual of Redirect for Rogue, which is basically going to allow you to transfer your combo points to another target, similar to how it is in later versions of the game. It'll just feel more fluid. It'll feel so much better if you accidentally, like, if you have to gouge bandage, you know, you won't, like, lose your combo points if you, like, target something else to blind another mob. It's going to feel really, really good. So we have some rune ability updates. We wanted to provide everyone a sneak peek at just some of the new runes. So it looks like they're showing 2 or 3 runes per class. Let's go with Druid first here. We have Eclipse, a player favorite ability from future expansions that we brought back for Season of Discovery. Eclipse increases the critical strike chance of your next Wrath abilities by 30%, and Wrath increases the critical strike chance of your next Starfire by 30%, with each effect stacking up to 4 times. So druids are getting Eclipse, which is really nice. We have King of the Jungle. Fundamentally changes your Tiger's Fury by increasing all physical damage you deal by 15%, as well as instantly granting you 60 energy. As a trade-off for this, Tiger's Fury now has a 30-second cooldown. So we got King of the Jungle for our ferals as well, which is really, really nice. And now we have Paladins. So for Paladins, we have Sheath of Light, which will cause damage dealt with your melee weapon to also increase your spell power. It will also cause your critical heals to apply an additional heal over time to the target. Sheath of Light, I forget when that actually came into the game. But then we have Guarded by the Light, will cause your melee weapon hits to restore mana over time. However, the amount healed by Flash of Light, Holy Light, and Holy Shock will be reduced by half. So these are some pretty decent. Sheath of Light is really nice. Guarded by the Light, I don't know, the Paladin runes seem a little bit weak for me, but again, these aren't all of them. They're just giving us a sneak peek. I'm sure once it hits the PTR and we get some data mine going, we're going to get all of the runes, and I'm going to do videos specific to every single class once we get that. So moving on down to Hunter, Melee Specialist. A passive ability which will reduce the cooldown on Raptor Strike, cause it to trigger instantly, and each usage of Raptor Strike has a chance not to trigger its cooldown. Melee Specialist will also remove the cooldown of Mongoose Bite. Wow, that is going to feel really good. So it's basically turning Raptor Strike into like an instant use ability that's not going off of your weapon swing, which is really interesting. So that's going to increase your DPS by quite a bit. It has a chance to not trigger the cooldown, and it will also remove the cooldown of Mongoose Bite, which is huge. So it seems like they're definitely have Melee Hunter in mind here, adding some more stuff for that, which Melee Specialist seems really, really good. And then, of course, we get Trap Launcher, being able to launch your traps 40 yards and can be placed while you're in combat. So that's going to change Hunter quite a bit, but I think it's a necessary change. I mean, having Trap Launcher, being able to place traps in combat just makes it feel more fluid. It's the same as Rogues being able to tab different targets and keep their combo points. It just makes the game feel like it's playing better. It feels a lot less clunky. So those are some really nice runes. And Warrior, which is what I'm going to be maining next phase. Let's see these two runes. We got Rallying Cry, a defensive ability which can be activated to increase the health of all party and raid members within 40 yards by 15%. All right, I'll take it. Blood Surge gives some of your abilities a chance to make your next slam instant and cost no rage. So Blood Surge is going to be interesting. I would like to see some of the other runes that they add, like, change up how the warrior plays, right? Like, I don't know. It seems like it's all percentage-based, like, scaling things that we're getting for warrior. And I mean, Blood Surge is definitely going to change it up quite a bit. But I really, really would like to see some cool things like Colossus, maybe like Heroic Leap, something to keep you alive in PvP, like Second Wind, like I put in my video. I really hope we see something like that, because that would make playing Warrior in PvP feel so much better. Moving down to Rogue, we have Shuriken Toss. Use Shuriken Toss to throw a Shuriken at your enemy, dealing damage to your target and up to 4 additional nearby enemies. So it's a 4-target cleave, 25% of your attack power, and its range. That's going to be really nice, especially for rogue tanks, like pulling maybe in dungeons. And just notice that some of these say belt. So a lot of these are going to be belt and boot runes, like Trap Launcher is a boot rune. Belt is Melee Specialist is a belt rune, so it looks like those are the 2 new slots we're getting this phase, belt and boots. And then we have Master of Subtlety. Cause attacks made while stealth and for a short time after exiting stealth to cause 10% additional damage. That's going to be really nice. Master of Sub is a really, really nice thing to have on Rogue. And here we go, moving on to Priest. Mind Spike. We got Blast the target for 108 to 126 Shadow Frost damage and increase the critical strike chance of your next Mind Blast on the target by 30%, stacking up to 3 times. This is big for Shadow Priest. Mind Spike is going to be a humongous improvement for their DPS. I'm actually really happy that I put this in my video too, so I'm glad that they're getting Mind Spike. And then, oh my god, we got Pain Suppression, dude. Instantly reduce all damage taken by a friendly target by 40%, increases resistance to dispel mechanics by 65% for 8 seconds. So Shadow Priests at level 40 are going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with in PvP. They are probably going to be one of the, if not the strongest class in PvP at level 40. Pain Suppression is just absolutely ridiculous, and giving them Mind Spike, it's a game changer. They're going to be top. I mean, they're already good at 25 in PvP. At 40, they are going to be unstoppable. So moving on down to Warlock runes, we have Invocation, Refreshing Corruption, Immolate, Curse of Agony, or Siphon Life. when it has less than 6-second duration remaining, will cause you to deal instant damage to the target equal to 1 period of that spell's periodic damage. Okay, I guess that's weird, but I don't really know how I feel about that, to be completely honest. And Dance of the Wicked, you and your demon pet gain dodge chance equal to your spell critical strike chance each time you deal a critical strike to an enemy, and also both regain 2% of your maximum mana. Again, a little not really happy with these 2 Warlock runes. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. But, I mean, Invocation could be cool, and that could be weaved into some rotations. Possibly, I guess. I don't really know, to be honest. I'm not really super ecstatic about the Warlock runes that they're showing. But again, these aren't all of them. I'm sure we're going to get probably, like, I would imagine 6 to 10. So these are only a very small amount of what we actually are going to get. So we'll just have to wait and see. As for Mage runes, Missile Barrage gives your Arcane Blast a 40% chance and your Fireball and Frostbolt spells a 20% chance to reduce the channel duration of your next arcane missiles by 50%, reduce the mana cost by 100%, and missiles will fire every 0.5 seconds. Missile Barrage, for anyone who played Arcane Mage when Missile Barrage was added to the game, it is so fun, and I'm so happy to see this in SOD. It's going to make playing Arcane Mage feel so good. Missile Barrage is an awesome ability, and that's a belt rune. We have Chronostatic Preservation. Fuses arcane fire and frost magic to freeze chronomantic energy into a stored state for later use. You can hold this energy for up to 15 seconds before it combusts and expires. When unleashed, heals a friendly target for 665 to 998. This spell is considered arcane fire and frost for interactions with other spells, talents, and abilities. So a nice heal from that. So basically, like you're saving up a big heal. But I'm not sure. Does it say that you can? Stored for later use, you can hold this energy for up to 15 seconds. So that's implying that you can blast this heal whenever you want. You don't have to wait 15 seconds. So that's really nice. Another mage healing ability. Mages have been healing pretty good. I mean, it's fun having a hybrid DPS healer in vanilla. It's been working really well. So I'm glad they're continuing to add stuff for mage healers. And then we have Shaman runes. We have Maelstrom Weapon. Causes damage dealt with melee attacks to have a chance to reduce the cast time of your next Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Lesser Heal Wave, Healing Wave, Chain Heal, or Lava Burst by 20%, and it can stack up to 5 times. So Maelstrom Weapon is nutty. I'm not sure if anyone has played Shaman later on when you get this, but in Wrath, it is unbelievably fun. You're basically just getting instant cast, Chain Lightnings, Lightning Bolts, Lava Burst, heals while you're, in there dual wield, beating stuff up. It really is good. It makes the gameplay feel really fluid. And then we have Spirit of the Alpha. This looks like a tanking rune for your boots. Infuses the target with the spirit of an alpha wolf, increasing all threat generated by the target by 45% for the next 30 minutes. Limit is 1 target. And then, of course, we have Two-Handed Mastery. Each time you this is a chest rune, so keep that in mind. Each time you strike an enemy with a two-handed weapon, you gain 30% attack speed with two-handed weapons for 10 seconds. That is insane. Combine this with Flurry. Oh boy, Shamans are literally going to be demolishing people in PvP. I'm not sure if this is going to be better than dual wielding in terms of PvE DPS, but this is really going to make Two-Handed Shaman come online for PvP, and I have not leveled a Shaman yet, and seeing this rune, I might actually level one before Phase 2 drops next week. So, yeah, that looks insane. So that's a sneak peek at all the runes so far, but there's going to be a ton more, and I'm sure as soon as we start getting data mined information, I'm going to make videos on every single class for you guys. It's going to be specific to that class, so you'll be able to get everything for your class in one video. Moving on down to PvP updates. Beware the Blood Moon. With Phase 2 of Season of Discovery, we are introducing a new PvP event called the Blood Moon. This new event brings with it a bit of mayhem to Stranglethorn Vale, and the Blood Moon will shine above the zone, casting an eerie red fog on the area. Building on what we have learned from the Ashenvale PvP event in Phase 1, we have created this event to occur on a more predictable timetable so that players can plan for when they are able to take part. The event is the Blood Moon, when every 3 hours it will take place, and the duration is 30 minutes, and it is in Stranglethorn Vale. During this event, killing players will allow you to earn currency, which can be traded for various rewards. While you can still group up with your allies for the event, the Blood Moon is a harsh mistress and will punish those in raid groups. So it looks like you're not going to be able to be in a massive raid group for this, but you can be in a 5-man group. For those who would rather live in peace and harmony with the land, you can opt out of the event by speaking with the Zandalari Emissary. You will not be able to earn any rewards from the event if you opt out, and general realm PvP rules will still apply. Unlike in the Ashenvale PvP event, there will not be any PvP objectives in Stranglethorn Vale's event. You will also need to keep a sharp eye out for the Chosen of the Blood Loa, who is more than a force to be reckoned with and will kill all in their path. So like a giant Fel Reaver type of boss walking around, really cool. I do really like this. I think this is going to be awesome. I like that you can't be in a massive raid group. That is so cool. So you're going to be able to group up with like four people and just go on like a killing spree in STV. It's going to feel really, really fun. You know, rogues and druids are going to have an absolute blast with this. And I'm really, really excited to jump into this. And here we got, it's showing some of the PvP rewards. We have a ring, 9 stam, 6 intel, increased fire damage done by spells by up to 16, which is humongous at level 40. On a ring especially. We have an epic one-handed mace, a 2.3 speed, 93 top-end damage, 31.1 DPS, 10 strength, 6 agility, only usable by warriors for some reason. That's really interesting. So it looks like each class, because that ring was only for mage, right? So each class is going to have a specific item they can get from this PvP event, which is really cool. 2 new mounts. So Alliance is getting this like yellowish brown tiger mount, and Horde is getting the orange and yellow raptor, which is really cool. Kind of stinks because, you know what, we've been riding a tiger all through Ashenvale, and Horde had a wolf, and they get something different now. We're just getting a tiger again, but it's all good. I'm going to be playing my Horde as well. There are also new quests which will help you earn Arathi Basin reputation. This event will not have an associated world buff, so there will be no world buff for the Stranglethorn PvP event, which is interesting. Because I read down here, yeah, Ashenvale will be moving to a 3-hour timer as well with Phase 2. The weekly quest world buff will not apply to players after level 39, so there will be no more PvP event world buff going into this next raid tier. Good to know, because it was kind of annoying that you couldn't boon the Ashenvale buff, but you can only get it once a week. So you basically, even though we have the Chrono Boon, and you can boon your DMF, you could boon the Boon of Blackfathom, but you couldn't boon the Ashenvale buff, so if you used it and you wanted to save it for your next run in 3 days, you still had to raid log. You couldn't play that character because you'd either die or waste the buff. So it's good to see they removed that. I think that was actually a really, really good change. I'm glad that that's gone. So PvP updates. Additional adjustments are coming to matchmaking. So this is going to be like Battlegrounds. While we understand that it can be frustrating for solo players to match against pre-made groups, we want to be careful about impacting queues. To address this, we are implementing 2 changes. Players in groups of 5 or fewer will have a higher chance to match against groups of 5 or fewer. Likewise, if you are in a group of 6 or more, you will have a higher chance to match with groups of 6 or more. This will help aid in matching more pre-made groups with pre-made groups and non-pre-made groups with non-pre-made groups when possible. To account for the potential to create longer queues with this updated matchmaking system, the system will ignore these rules after a period of time should we start seeing these queues impacted. This will then match you with the first available so you can get in and play without waiting too much longer. So this is great. You can still play with a pre-made, and you can still queue solo or with just a small group and have a high chance of not getting placed against a pre-made. Again, really good updates. Like, I am blown away by how much they are actually like listening to the community. Really, all of these awesome changes that we're seeing with Phase 2, people have been vocal about on YouTube and on Twitter. And Agron has done a great job at like talking to people, commenting on videos, talking in streams, talking on Twitter, having discussions about this stuff. And it's really awesome to see that they are listening. And these changes are great. People wanted all of this stuff. So moving on down to profession updates. Just like in Phase 1, players will be able to undertake an epic quest chain to unlock access to these new profession items. No spoilers though. Recipes will also include some new materials that players will be able to find throughout the game and trade with others to get the items they need most to craft their wares. Here are just some of the recipes you will find. We have a mail headpiece, 10 strength, 10 agility, 11 stamina, 10 intel. Gives you 1 chance to hit, and then an on use, engage the radiation mitigation protocols in this helmet, causing you to immediately remove all active poison effects and gain immunity to all nature damage for 3 seconds. That is enormous. That is a leatherworking mail helm. And yeah, you could see some of the new Items that are required here requires low background true silver plates, shadow oil, faintly glowing leather, insulating neodyne. So yeah, some new crafting regions have been added as well, which is really interesting. And then they showed us a tailoring head here, 10 stam, 11 intel, increase your spell damage by 22%, gives you 4 MP5. And then an on use, harness the latent arcane energy in the nearby air to give you the charged inspiration, reducing the mana cost of all your spells by 50% and increasing damage and healing done by up to 50 for 12 seconds. That is enormous for casters. That's the tailoring helm. And then for blacksmithing, we have a helm, 14 stam, 15 intel, increases your... Oh, so this is strictly for paladins. It's a plate helm. Increases your spell damage by 21. And on use, gain reinforced willpower, preventing silence, interrupt effects, and spell pushback. So I'm assuming there's going to be another helm for DPS plate, like warriors. And then we have some alchemists and enchanters will find a couple of new recipes which can bring more utility and throughput into their own gameplay, rather than simply creating things that they can use and sell to make a little extra gold. So enchanters are getting a enchanted sigil innovation. So what is this? It doesn't say like where if you equip it or if it's just an item in your bag. Oh, so it's basically just an item in your bag that you use. So this is the enchanting one. It's gain an enchanted sigil of innovation, empowering you to deal up to 20% increased damage and healing with spells and increasing attack power by 20 for 30 minutes. This can only be applied outside of combat. Interesting. So it's basically a buff that you can constantly put on yourself. So enchanting is going to be useful for even for melee and physical DPS now with that. And then the alchemy one is a potion, mildly irradiated rejuvenation potion. On use, that restores 262 to 438 mana and 340 to 460 health. Also increases attack power by 40 and damage by all spells by 35 for 15 seconds. Really nice. So a nice cooldown you're getting off of that, a DPS cooldown from alchemy. So that's, yeah, those look really good. So it's nice to see them like adding stuff to more professions, right? I'd like to see there's definitely going to be, if there's an enchanting and an alchemy epic, there's going to be an engineering epic, and I can't wait to see what that's going to be. No more GDKP runs. We are experimenting with a new policy which will no longer allow GDKP runs in Season of Discovery. While we understand that there are some benefits to those who find this a convenient way to gain gear, we also recognize that there are some concerns surrounding the erosion of traditional guild and social structures that are a part of the spirit of Season of Discovery. Given the experimental nature of Season of Discovery, we want to try things out without this type of transaction taking place in this game mode. With the launch on February 8th, we will be restricting this activity. We will have more information to share on our official channels, and we'll be monitoring feedback closely. So they're getting rid of GDKPs, and you know what? I think this might be a really smart move. Oops, sorry, I bumped the microphone there. I really do, because no matter how many times they ban all the bots will come back, make new accounts, and be there, right? So really, instead of doing that, just take away the incentive for people to RMT, right? Take away the incentive for people to buy gold. People will still buy gold, but it will be cut literally in half, if not more, by not allowing GDKPs. People will just not have that much of a need for the gold anymore, and it will be, I honestly think it's just healthier for the game. So I'm curious to see how they're going to restrict it, though. Like, I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but it's going to be interesting. And then the last section here, it is not too late to join in Season of Discovery. For players looking to catch up with their friends above level 25, we will be implementing a 50% experience buff for players between level 1 and 25. Players will also see an increase in experience gained within the Blackfathom Deep's raid dungeon when it's cleared. The raid dungeon will continue to run with the current lockout timer, and players will no longer gain the world buff beyond level 39. Waylaid supplies will also see an adjustment. We will share more later, but there will be a significant increase in experience gain from them to turn in. So, okay, so that confirms what we were thinking, right? Blackfathom Deeps is going to be a nice, every 3 days you can run it for a crazy amount of experience, most likely, which is really nice. You're getting a 50% experience buff from levels 1 to 25, which is also huge. And Waylaid supplies are going to be getting a buff to the amount of experience. So there's going to be plenty of ways to gain XP. I think, in my opinion, all of these changes have been really good. I'm not really happy with the 2 runes they showed for Locke, the 2 runes they showed for Warrior. I think they could be better. But again, these aren't all the runes. There's going to be so many more coming out. And like I said, make sure you guys, follow me, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be putting out a video for every single class as the data is released to us once it gets data mined. But yeah, I'm pretty happy about this. I don't know. What do you guys, think about all these changes? I think that a lot of them are good. I don't really see anything here that's bad. I mean, getting rid of GDKPs is really good. Some of us would think that. You know, there's a lot of people who do really enjoy that playstyle and would be really upset about that. Shaman looks crazy just from these 3 runes that they've shown. I can't imagine what else they're getting. But yeah, all good stuff, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, I'm sorry that was a lot. I just wanted to get this out for you guys tonight. Hit that like button. It really does help me out. Drop some comments. I want to know. I want to get into some discussions. What do you guys think about all this stuff? I'm really excited. And subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. And if you want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. And if you want to join an awesome Discord community full of like-minded people who all enjoy classic WoW and enjoy geeking out over Season of Discovery news like me, we will welcome you with open arms. There'll be a link to the Discord in the description as well. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.